Oh, beautiful. Well, anyway, we'll start from the top again. Hello and welcome to Thought Anthology. It is episode 30-something. Today I have Emma on the podcast.
Hello.
Yeah, that's Emma. And then I have my unemployed Jamie.
Hey, what's up?
Crocodile Navdeep. Crocodile Navdeep. Still my favourite name. I've got to start being. I've got to start being more consistent with these episodes, but because I'm still paying a subscription for a distribution fee, which is $20 a month, and it's just going down the drain.
Where do you distribute?
Spotify and YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is on Spotify. I'm very popular in Belgium.
Really?
I've got like 2 viewers in Belgium.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I don't know if they're using a VPN though, but yeah. So this is just a getting to know you and a bit of a shit talking podcast on this one. So we first could probably say like, who are you? Where are you from?
So my name's Emma. I'm originally from Coventry in England, and then moved to Melbourne when I was about 8, and then came to Mildura maybe two years ago.
Yeah. Do you know much of England or?
Quite a bit. Like there was quite a bit of different like things that happened, but it's
What do you remember from that time?
I think I remember mostly like going on holidays with my parents. Like we used to go on these big grand adventures in caravans, and like we'd go to like this place called the Isle of Wight. Yeah. And it's like this little island off the coast of England, and there's like this tiny little theme park there. Yeah. And it had like roller coasters and like shit like that. So and it was like the beach, so you go on like go to the beach and go and camp in your caravan, and it was nice.
Oh, beauty. And then you were in Melbourne for how long?
So like we moved around in Melbourne, but like I was in Melbourne from like maybe the age of 8 until 24. Yeah. So that's what 16 years.
Long enough.
Yeah.
Pretty long.
Yeah.
Well, mate, so what do you do for a job now?
So I'm a mental health nurse.
Yeah.
Which I really enjoy.
So what brought you towards mental health nursing?
It was an act of convenience.
Yeah? What do you mean by that?
So when I was in my last year of uni, I got I broke my leg, and so I had to do placement late. And so I missed, so something in like nursing is PMCB, and which is what you have to apply through to as a nurse to like get a job, as a grad. And then so I missed that because I broke my leg and couldn't graduate in time. And so when I did a placement in Mildura, and one of the nurses on the ward offered to give me a job. And so I went and I applied through them, and they were like, "Here you go." And I was like, "Thank you."
Okay, so this all worked out for you then.
Yeah, it was quite
So never really wanted to get into mental health nursing, or did you have like a...
It was always an idea, like in the back of my brain. Like I really enjoyed the idea of mental health nursing, but I never thought I would end up in it. I thought I would end up in like emergency or like ICU or...
Yeah, because that was your general direction. So like, what sort of jobs did you have prior to nursing?
So I was a lifeguard for a very long time. A lot of waitressing gigs, like bartending. I worked on a boat for a little bit.
What were you doing on the boat?
I was a waitress on a boat.
What sort of boat?
It was just like a little cruiser.
A cruiser boat?
Yeah.
That's like a ship, or is it like just a small boat?
Like, I would say like it was like, you know, one of those like Elon Musk yachts? It's just like, it's not a yacht, but it's just like a boat that's just like...
It's just a battery in the water?
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean.
It was just like a boat.
Okay.
And it would cruise around between Western Port and like Western Port Harbour.
Yeah.
Between like Phillip Island and Western Port.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And how long did you do that for?
Maybe like 6 months. It was I was only like 15.
Okay. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Oh, yeah.
So... was a landscaper as well.
A landscaper on top of that? What was your favourite thing landscaping?
Seeing all the rich people's houses.
That is fun, isn't it? I did landscaping as well. Going to rich people's houses and doing their gardens. Yeah. Yeah,
it was quite fun.
So it was great to see a $3 million home.
Oh, yeah.
That I'll never own.
Same.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, so now you've moved from Melbourne to Mildura. Was that a big ordeal for you?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like, at the time, moving just seemed like the right direction. I don't know, it was like it was kind of bizarre. Like, it didn't feel like a huge deal, but it felt like a change. And, like, I really enjoy change and doing things differently, so.
So what forced you into the direction what drew them for change?
It was literally just the job.
Just the job availability. Okay.
Yeah. I was just like, I've got a job here, I'm going to go there.
Okay, sweet. Oh, yeah, have you been enjoying your time here?
Yeah, I think so. I think the community's a lot smaller than, like, the ones around Melbourne, so you kind of make friends easier and you kind of, like, have a more interesting sort of, like, interactions with people.
Yeah.
Which is nice, because you kind of get ingrained into the society a lot quicker.
Yeah. Whereas,
like, in Melbourne, you have to be there for a while and you have to, like, know people to do things and, like, it's a lot harder. What about you?
What about me?
You enjoy your time in Mildura so far?
I've been living here for 28 years. I've seen every street. I've been down every road 100 times. It's alright. Mildura is a really good little place. It is 600 kilometres from Melbourne, or 500 and something. Just so people who are listening from another place don't understand. It's in Victoria. It's a small, rural city.
Rural city?
Apparently. Ice capital, I think, at one point.
I think it's still an ice capital.
Yeah, probably known for its drug use.
Well, they were saying that the ice comes down because like Sydney to Melbourne route goes through Mildura.
Yeah.
So like when they do bring it down in the trucks and stuff, they just like it's just like one of the hubs.
Yeah, because we got like Adelaide, Sydney, and we're like the border of New South Wales and all those places. Yeah, no, Mildura's cool. It could be better.
It could be
but
better.
It's nice. It's nice and affordable place if you want to buy a property or like live here. You could actually realistically buy a home.
Like even, like I could buy a house here pretty easy.
Yeah, yeah, but looking to move out anyway eventually, which is why I'm gonna get Nav to move in, and he can stay forever.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, I'll take over the house.
Take over the home. Yeah. Yeah. So I've known you for about a year and a half now, probably. More than that.
Yeah, I'd say like about 2 years.
About 2 years now. That's gone quick as.
I've been here about 2.5 years.
Because we work in the same workplace. Yeah. What's your favourite hobbies?
I think they change.
Yeah, they change.
Yeah, I think.
Is it just because you like variety, or?
I think it's like it's one of those things. It's like active convenience. So like things that are convenient to access, I'll engage in.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying horse riding so far. I've only done 2 lessons now, but like I'm really getting into it.
Yeah.
I love swimming.
Yeah.
Swimming's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
What's your thoughts on horse riding?
I think horse riding's hard and difficult to get into.
Yeah.
But I think once I get a groove, I'll be fine.
Yeah, it's a big entry, isn't it? It's quite like expensive.
Yeah, even like the lessons are quite expensive.
They are.
Yeah.
Like, I do understand why they are, but fuck, it's expensive.
Yeah.
But we're learning because I'm doing the same school as you. Like we're learning English saddle. I've been doing like research, doing like English saddle, which is the harder version compared to the Western saddle.
Like the side saddle, or?
No, Western saddle's the one with the horn.
Okay.
And it's got like cushioning, like it's more for long distance sort of riding. Whereas English saddle's like a thinner saddle and it requires more technique to stay on the horse.
Okay, yeah.
It's a bit different. But yeah, that's a lot of interesting stuff. I downloaded an audiobook about it.
Ooh.
About horse psychology.
Okay, so you know I see Nav doing this as well.
Yeah.
Actually, he goes into everything with like a lot of information from YouTube.
Yeah.
And he like delves real deep into things and like gets like all these videos and like knows all about them. Like he does it with cars and like horses and like all sorts of stuff. But like I will just go into things blind.
Yeah.
And just like figure it out as I go.
As you go.
And it's such an interesting sort of way because I always think about looking into things before I do them, and it's just like I don't know how much that helps you with what you're doing.
Yeah. Probably depends.
Yeah.
The one I'm listening to right now that I started today is about how to communicate with your horse.
Okay.
Like it teaches like the psychology between humans and horses because we've been like working with horses for like 50,000 years.
And they would know that surely. Like the horses would know. Like horses would know. Like they'd be like, oh, this is a person. They're just gonna do this and this and this.
It's probably more complicated than that, by the sounds of what I've gathered. Because like a horse think in horse terms and humans think in human terms.
Yeah.
So we just got to find how we communicate those needs together.
Is it true that horses have like a 360-degree vision?
No fucking idea. I'm still learning a lot. It's still a brand new hobby for me. But yeah, it's really cool. I'm hoping that it can open more doors.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about doing I do like reflection episodes where like I've only ever done one, but I want to do more. Where I just sit there and do some reflection. I'm gonna add something about the horses.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah.
Yeah, they're fun. Just so I can, because it's hard to get guests on.
Yeah, just like delve deep.
Yeah.
Surely he just like asks people to come in and do.
Yeah, I've tried, but they don't come.
They don't come.
No, because they get scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're afraid of just talking and sounding silly, I think.
Oh, well.
That's fine.
Yeah, everything's. Like, I think you've been asking me for about a year to do this.
100%.
We finally organised it.
Finally got it sorted.
I don't think I've ever said no. I think it was just like about timing.
Timing could be. It's just hard with shift work, just the way it is.
Yeah.
So swimming as well. Is swimming just something you've been doing for ages?
I think that when I first came to Mildura, I really wanted to keep up my skills with surfing, so I surf quite frequently when I'm in Melbourne. But when I came to Mildura, there's no surf, like you can't do those kind of things. So like, I think doing things like going to the gym, working on like leg work and like keeping the strength up and like skating and like swimming and things like that just helped me keep, I don't know, that sort of like feel of like going surfing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what happened to your knees?
I had 2 ACL reconstructions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally cooked them.
And they're all on the same. They're both on the same leg.
Yeah. Because like what happened?
So the first one, I was playing football. I just got out of like high school, and I was playing for my first like adult league.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever seen a women's game. But they play really low ground balls. Like a lot of the time, it's like the ball's on the ground.
Yeah.
And so, we were playing a game, and I was a very good player when I was in like my youth, and like I played for the state and like a few other like quite high value teams. We went overseas and did all this kind of thing. But when I played for a very low division in my adult.
Yeah.
And women are rough, man.
Yeah.
So I got tackled by this woman, and she just didn't know how to tackle, and she grabbed my leg and just planted it, and my other leg just like, and my body fell, and my leg didn't, because she'd planted my knee.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I tore my ACL, and I couldn't play for quite a few years after that.
Yeah.
And then my second ACL, I was skateboarding.
Yeah.
In a skate park with a bunch of like teenagers, and I had to like I felt it pop out.
Fuck.
And then I was just like I had to figure out how to get out of the skate park without stepping on my leg.
Yeah.
But also without looking like a complete and total fool in front of all these other skaters.
Yeah.
So I was like using my board and like the other skate like things that you're supposed to grind on to like
crunches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was quite funny. And yeah, I ended up going to the hospital for that one.
Nice. Solid effort. So your knees are fucked.
Oh, they're alright now.
Your knee is fucked. Yeah.
They're
alright
now.
They're right for now. Because how long ago was the injuries then in total? The most recent one.
Before I came here, so almost 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Yeah, love a good old knee injury.
We've got fuck knees, don't you?
Only one. That's getting better though. I think just not going to jiu-jitsu's helped it.
Is that what's caused it? Yeah.
No, it's footy, having footy, but like jiu-jitsu like just can't handle all the bending.
But it's been a while since you've been a footy, isn't it?
Yeah, I haven't played for probably for 8 months. I don't know what I did to a Dimble League and looked at. What was I going to say? I can't remember. I was going to talk about other things, your other hobbies. You like hiking and camping and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I think that's like a given, like living in the bush.
Yeah.
I think camping just comes a part of living out here.
Yeah, 100%.
But like I think like it's super interesting to get into those sort of like the hiking and the camping and stuff, and like you get like this whole new culture.
Yeah.
And it just comes with like its own benefits. Like you get to be outdoors. You're usually near water. Like there's so many like known benefits to being outside and being in nature. And then you combine that with walking, you get hiking, and then you get even more benefits. And I think it's just something that isn't too strenuous, but also gives you all those things that you really enjoy out of life. You know.
100%.
Yeah, and you kind of like have to rely on yourself a bit more.
Yeah, true. You gotta touch grass a bit.
Yeah, you know, smell the roses.
Yeah. What's one of your favourite memories?
I have a favourite memory.
Yeah.
It's my 21st birthday.
Yeah.
It was actually before my 21st birthday. It was about 2 weeks before my 21st birthday. And my grandparents had come over from England to Australia, and all my friends and all my family were at my house, and we were having like this little party for my 21st birthday, and I was going away the next day to Europe for a month-long Europe tour, and so we just had this huge party, and like everyone came around, and like just got these great memories of me and my family just spending time together and getting drunk and enjoying each other's presence, and like it was just super lovely.
That's good. That's a nice wholesome one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Mine's the sunset in Exmouth at the moment. That was a good one. Really, really good moment. Yeah.
There's always one that sticks out to you.
100%. Yeah. You're really a bit into existentialism as well.
Oh, I do love a bit of existentialism, yep.
Yeah, you're a bit into the absurdism, aren't you?
Oh, I do love absurdism.
Yeah, why do you like absurdism for?
Oh, I just think that nihilism's too dark, and I think that existentialism is too like cliche. So I really didn't want to follow those two routes. And then I read like Camus and like a bunch of other absurdists, and was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I just really I think that like it makes sense more than like I think everyone like about making meaning of your life. It's like it doesn't actually mean anything, but you still like kind of like have that view into it. You know what I mean? Like you kind of like you have a meaning, but it's like it doesn't actually mean anything.
I think you're trying to say you have a subjective meaning. But,
yeah.
But compared to the objective, it probably means nothing.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying, probably.
And then with nihilism, I don't think everything means. I don't think. Do you know what I mean? Like
it's too far to one side. I mean, it's not necessarily everything is meaningless.
Yeah.
But like with nihilism, it also depends upon how you perceive like everything's meaningless on top of that as well. But yeah, I understand what you mean. And it's a bit too far to the left.
Yeah, it comes way too much with like kind of like nothing means anything, so I may as well not do anything about it.
Yeah, and it kind of has like it's a logical flaw in there as well. Yeah, because you know how like. Do you know, like, let's say, for example, if I ask you, do you think that the universe has no meaning? What would you say?
I would probably say no.
Why?
I would say that there's no logical meaning to the universe. Like, there's nothing that we're particularly heading towards. Like, there's no real positive direction we're going or negative direction. We're just kind of, like, going forward. Yeah. Which is, I suppose, a direction, but it's not really anything specific or...
I think you can logically prove, this is after me listening to an example, that you can logically prove that there's meaning. There's a video that brought out an example of somebody, like it was Neil deGrasse Tyson posting something and a comedian, I can't remember his name, I think it was Mark Norman, where Neil said that the universe doesn't care, but that is not actually true, because within the universe there are living creatures and living creatures care.
Okay.
So when you separate yourself from the system you're in, it looks like that, but when you actually look at it as a whole, because we are a part of this system, the universe too, even a fraction cares. Like even like at a 0. Whatever percentage you want to do.
Yeah, okay, I can see where you're coming from. It's like that. It's like that theory about like we are just the universe observing the universe.
Well, we quite literally are, because like, we're all made up of the same product of the universe.
But like, coming back to like
the meaning part.
Yeah.
But this is where I'm coming. This is where I'm going.
Yeah.
Then you can then impose meaning, because you're like, I can infer whatever meaning I want of things, and like let's say for example, I want my meaning to be a baker, and it's like, okay, that can be the meaning of my universe or the universe because I'm part of it.
Okay.
So you can impose whatever meaning you need upon it.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be necessarily
like a whole thing.
Doesn't have to be a whole huge network thing, but like the universe is full of complex meanings.
I suppose if we started bringing it down to like one whole meaning, then it would be like God or like something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas like I don't know. I think that like coming down to like really individualistic things is like, especially nowadays, like society, like a lot of people don't know what the meaning is in their life.
Yeah.
And like coming down to that, like you think about like we might have many little meanings, but we don't have one whole big meaning.
Well, that depends upon the society and the system as well. If you're talking about like societal meaning,
I think like more individualistic.
Well, because you're saying micro meanings, which would be individualistic, wouldn't it?
No, I think like one person could have like okay, like my meaning for today is like I go to work.
Yeah.
Or like my meaning for life is to get through to be 60 or whatever. Like I want to like do this one specific thing.
Yeah.
But like today's society more comes down to like is that they don't know what their meaning is. Like they don't just think about, okay, my meaning is going to work or my meaning is living till 60. There's just like they're just like floating through life like.
Yeah, well, because they're not presently thinking about meaning. And, like, we've also taken away the quite obvious natural factor of our lives. Like, we've modernised the fuck out of living.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Or if you want to get to like the meat and potatoes of like that sort of stuff, if you want to look at the meaning of living creatures, it's really just to try to survive and reproduce. And we have absolutely changed the dynamics of our living situation where it's not quite like that anymore.
Yeah, well, like, you think about Western societies, people having less children and women are more educated, and that's definitely to do with one another, like women's education and reproduction rights.
Yeah, because the more educated you get, generally people who are more educated don't have as many children. There's also like a lot of women would like to date above or higher up because of hypergamy. So generally like somebody of equivalent of high education, and that's quite hard to meet.
Yeah, I suppose it does.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other aspects that make it quite difficult. Yeah, modern dating and modern relationships are quite complex now because of the way the world is.
It is quite, it's very hard.
Like, and also like the cost of living of like actually raising a child. Logistically,
especially in
it's
Western
quite
countries.
difficult, and if you're quite an educated, intelligent person, you're quite aware of that. So you're just like, oh, there's a lot to think about here. So then you don't do anything because you have too much to think about.
You're weighing the options.
Yeah, which is such a lot easier to just not. Because it's right now, like it's just like I can't imagine having a kid be fucking hauling ass for the rest of my life. Fuck me dead.
It seems like a big effort, doesn't it?
It is a big fucking effort.
But then you think back to like our parents and stuff, and they just did it.
Yeah, they just did it. Well, that's because times are quite different though. It's like life was more affordable. Like having that's all they had. They didn't have any distractions of like social media, travel. Didn't have any of that. They didn't have contraception like we do now.
Okay.
Which contraception is a big player in the way we deal with relationships now.
Yeah, I suppose it is.
Because it brings a lot of sexual freedom. Because like back in the day, like you'd have to be very, very careful around sex. But now we can do whatever we want with sex because we've got so much contraception.
Yeah, I've never really thought about it that way.
Yeah. So that changes the whole dynamic.
It's a whole new thought for me.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I've been listening to a lot of like podcasts about it. It's like a really fascinating perspective on it all. Like how the age of like modernity and modern technology has affected the dynamics of relationships and the way that we actually go through reproduction.
I actually would really love to listen to that.
Yeah, I'll send something to you. It's cool, isn't it?
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, because like prior to like contraception, like people like they had, like let's say societies, like for example, like your Western societies had your Christian values where like you had to find, you'd be very picky about the person you got into a relationship with because you want to make sure that like let's say for a heterosexual relationship, you'd have to have the man being stable because the woman for a period of time is going to be quite vulnerable being pregnant. So like that's where that dynamic comes from, which makes sense because like caveman sort of type situations, you need a guy that is able to get food, put shelter over your head and keep you safe while you're pregnant and having kids. So people will be very selective of their partners, but now we've got the freedom. So people like still have that innate brain thought process of trying to find those in people, but now they have they don't have, now they have endless options because one, they have contraception where there's no risk of pregnancy. They have things like dating apps like Tinder and Hinge. So like they're looking in 100 directions, seeing 100 potential suitors, but they don't have to worry about anything because there's no risk.
Yeah, there's no risk.
The risks are reduced.
I think that like it
If
is
that
one
makes
of those.
sense.
I think I think it's definitely that thing. It's like also relationships are harder to maintain nowadays as well.
Yeah, because you don't have to rely on anyone.
Yeah, you can have that independence. Like you think about like what 20, 30 years ago, some women couldn't own houses and vote and all these other sort of things that they can do now. And I think now like now that they can and they have all this freedom, it's very hard to maintain a relationship with like a strong woman that you just like this is difficult. You have to definitely have compromise and
in a relation, people don't compromise very well these days, and so people go through like it happens in male relationships too, but it's hard.
Yeah, it is difficult
because you can just avoid every problem you want and never have a satisfying life.
Yeah.
Because you could go through like a stream of people, I don't like the way you make me feel, I'm going to leave now, I'm not going to talk about this with you, I'm just going to leave.
Yeah.
And then you go through this cycle over and over again, and by the time you're like a 60-year-old cat lady.
Yeah, I think I was talking to Nav about this earlier actually. Yeah. It's about like the divorce rates between like arranged marriages.
Yeah.
And I was trying to argue on the point that it's more like socially unacceptable to have a divorce in like that sort of culture, whereas I think he was arguing against it for some reason.
No, I was just saying the fact that this was a thing, and I agree with that. I've heard about this a lot.
Yeah.
And I understand because like culturally in India, and like not all parts of India, but yeah, it's divorce is not. I don't know. It's just it's not societally accepted.
Yeah.
Or like especially like the villages and stuff. It's still like the cultural thing about like, oh, you're married now, you're a family, you've got kids, everyone got to stay together, and if there's any problems between, you'll go to just work it out. It's not about you can just leave that problem and go away.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that pressure, but that pressure is also more about you all working it out, rather than just leaving it away and then going your separate ways.
Yeah.
But then also that leads to, there's a lot of cases about domestic violence and stuff where the person has to leave but then they can't, and due to the society.
Yeah, there's that nuance part of it too. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a cultural thing about like try to work it out and see.
Yeah, which is a positive thing.
Yeah.
I guess I can see that as a positive. But the domestic violence part's definitely not a good one.
Well, I have male friends that would be so happy to have an arranged marriage.
Yeah.
Like they would love it if their family would just set them up with someone and just be like, okay, that's it. Like I've got my partner. I'm done. I'm like good.
100%.
Have kids.
Dating sucks as a bloke.
And like I can see that as well. Like I think I can see that it does suck for you guys.
Yeah.
And like I do sort of understand where you guys are coming from. But I think being gay is like a completely different ball game, and we don't even like cross paths in sort of like the way that we date. So like,
because your end goal would be different.
I think my end goal is, and like generally women that do date other women, their end goal is usually to have a partner and to I don't know, I'm not sure about other women. Usually it's just to have like a stable relationship and like have like someone that just you get along with.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yeah, a friendship really.
Yeah, and like someone that you can just like be with and just like enjoy their company, and like you don't need all the other like extra stuff on top, all the pressure of like marriage and kids and like mortgages and houses, because you're not in that environment where you're supposed to be having these things, so people don't put the pressure on you as much.
Yeah.
Whereas like I see with like so my brother and his partner have been together for quite a long time, and there's all this pressure for them to buy a house and to have a kid and to get married, and me and my partner have been together for about the same amount of time, and we haven't even moved in together yet, so we just like it's interesting to watch what the difference is.
Yeah. Well, because there's expectations of provision. Like marriage is generally quite a practical thing, which is to foster, like to raise kids. So you would like like with that whole conversation earlier, I think with the current pressures now, like the marriage thing, that's because of old times. Because the expectations are meant to provide, and then for women to bear the children, and they're meant to provide for that.
Yeah.
So that's where that pressure comes from. So like you need somebody who can find some form of stability.
Yeah, I've seen a lot in the form of like women like trying to manage these these roles as well, like having a career and then also being like a mum, like a mother, and then like also like looking after the household.
Which is way too many roles.
Which is way too many roles for anyone. I think that like women nowadays aren't looking for a provider, but they're looking for an equal. Yeah. They're looking for someone that can help with the kids. Yeah. As well as helping with the housework and helping with and also doing their job. They're trying to share the roles that they've been given.
Yeah. I don't even I don't feel like that's. It doesn't feel that way though. It doesn't feel like it's kind of equal.
I think in my relationship that's definitely something that's prevalent. Like we both take on the same roles and then support each other in areas that we're not strong in. Yeah. So like I'm not strong in any way at being like financially responsible. I love just like I save money, but like I love just like having a little treat or like going and buying that new book or going on holiday. Like I'll go and do those things. Whereas my partner's really good with financial stability. Yeah. And so like she pushes me to be better with that sort of thing. Pretty well. Whereas like she's not very good at being spontaneous. So I'll go and I'll be like, let's go camping or let's do this. Yeah. And so like we complement each other in a nice way. Yeah. But in like the day-to-day stuff, we both have jobs, we both work part-time, we both do housework, we figure out what each other likes to do and then we just work around that. Yeah. So like if she likes to do laundry, I'll do the dishes or like something like that. Yeah. And then also we've discussed about it and neither of us want to have kids, so we both want to decide that like we'll do some fostering and adopt. Yeah. And so I think that like around that area we'll be very good parents because she's a teacher and I'm a nurse. Yeah. So I think like we both like have that ability to do like complement each other. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You're talking about the 50-50 role between you and your partner. Yeah, but it's like you give more and you take more. What do you mean by give more and take more? What do you mean? Well, like some days you can give like 20% and the other partner has to fill in the 80, you know? Yeah. And then other days you can give that 80. Yeah, it's never always 50-50. It's never always 50-50. Yeah. But I think like nowadays women don't want someone to just be like, oh, I am man, I'm big and strong and I have a job. Like they want you to be able to provide those other services. I think that's the whole like masculine role is like not that. It's like providing like emotional stability. It's providing a healthy masculine figure. It's not really like I'm big, I have job. It's more complex than that. Yeah, I think I think so, I do understand. Because like men, like a father's meant to show you how to live in the world. A mother brings you into the world. So like it's not just about having a job. It's also about showing you how to interact with the world around you. Okay. That's the father's role. Yeah. That's why I think it's very valuable because a lot of people have no fathers and you can see the struggle now. And I think that's because of like poor parenting and absent fathers. Because like a lot of fathers don't know what they're doing. Yeah, but how do you sort of like see like people like same-sex couples in like parenting? How do you see that? In parenting? Yeah. I feel like somebody would fill in the gap as the masculine. Like somebody in the community, like they'd find if it's a boy, for example, that you're fostering, I still think there's value of having a masculine figure in the household. Yeah. Not necessarily saying that like both you two will probably provide very good care and very good examples, but sometimes a young boy needs a positive male role model in their life because like that's what we look up to. We look up to the same sex. That's like the old Freudian shit. Like you know. If you don't have a positive male role model, you don't know what you're going to look like. Yeah. We're not really 100% when it comes to same-sex relationships, but it's difficult to look into, isn't it? It is. But I think somewhere somebody will fill that gap if it's because you have some masculine traits. Yeah, I do. So like, it depends where that gap gets filled. It is an interesting thing to sort of think about. Yeah. When me and my partner do adopt or foster.
Yeah.
To sort of see where that masculine, like, sort of role model would come into play.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it and thought about it before as, like, how we would, like, engage that. But we also think that it would come from, like, just general, like if they play a sport, that it'd come from coaches, and, like, if they were at school, then they'd come from teachers, and, like, they'd be there, but it wouldn't be, like, in the household, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Fuck, I'm too tired for this convo. My brain's processing, so very slow. Probably very incoherent.
Do you want to take a minute? Or
That's right. But yeah, it'll probably come from there. I still, and even then that's a contradiction in what I'm saying prior, because, like, I feel like we do have a lot of absent positive male role models. And I don't know where that gap's going to be filled in the community either.
I think it's interesting to sort of see, like, how people do turn up.
Yeah.
As, like, because, like, I had, like, a very structured, like, safe family when I grew up. And then I look at, like, people that don't have, like, strong positive role models at all.
Yeah.
And they sometimes they do actually turn out okay.
Sometimes.
It's very rare, though.
But they tend to raise themselves. Because that's what I did. I had to, like, raise myself.
Yeah. Because,
like, I don't think I had very many positive role models. I had to find them, and I had to make myself into one.
Yeah, you sort of take traits that you like from other people, and you sort of, like, build your personality and your sort of self around those traits.
100%. Yeah. Like anime characters, you know what I mean? No, I'm saying Goku. Hell yeah. Yeah. I think it depends. It depends on the person, but, like, those are very rare cases, because, like, that requires insight.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It's like, I don't know, I think you need to have some sort of role model in your life, even if it is, like, someone that is external to your immediate family.
Yeah, that kind of gives you
that switch, yeah.
It's like, I want to be like that.
Yeah, I want to be better, sort of thing.
Yeah, you need that push. I only get very passionate about the masculine thing, because I feel like people talk way too much about the feminine, then they bash on men a lot.
I don't know, like, I think women nowadays are very entitled.
Yeah.
And, like, this is coming from a woman, so, like, because I spend, like, I don't know, like, I interact with so many women all day, and, like, having, like, kind of being gay and having, like, presenting quite masculine, I kind of can interact with both females and males without having to sort of be a part of either group.
Yeah. And
so, like, I interact with females, and they're very, like, they're very, like, oh, I want things this way, and I want, like, and, like, need things this way, or, like, and, like, I want this out of my partner, and I want that, and this is wrong, and that's wrong, but this is good, and this is good. And you're, like, sometimes you've just got to, like,
communicate.
Yeah.
Because no one's perfect.
Yeah.
Because you're not perfect either, little princess. That's the one thing that, like, there's actually a real powerful quote, well, not really powerful, really good quote I like, is that in the West anyway, people are really good at telling their daughters how their boyfriend should be, or how they should be treated. But nobody ever asks how they should treat men. They always, everyone knows how to treat a woman, but nobody knows how to treat a man, which is like...
Yeah, okay. I think I see where you're coming from there.
Yeah.
Like, you see all these TV shows and movies and stuff about how, like, this is how men should treat a woman.
Yeah.
And then you don't see anything about how, like, women should treat men.
Yeah.
I think because women are, I think women, because us are and used to be conditioned to, like, be a certain way towards men.
Yeah.
And that was very, like, structured in society.
And seen as a negative.
Yeah.
Because it came to end as a negative outcome.
Yeah, and, like, it was, like, posed in the past tense as how, like, women were meant to be in the kitchen, and, like, they were meant to cook dinner and please the man and be the, like, please the male gaze and things like that.
Yeah.
And I think nowadays women are really trying to pull away from what men want and what they think men want, but they don't know what men want because they don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, they don't talk to a man and be like, oh,
yeah,
that's what you want? Okay.
All a man wants is respect and loyalty. That's it.
And, like, I think,
that's
like,
all I want.
I think women don't ask, and they don't realise. They just expect that men want, like, one of two things. They want sex, or they want, like, to ignore you or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a man, and I don't
yeah. No,
date
like,
them, so.
Yeah, that's why I find it so, like, I'm glad you bring it up, because, like, I'm really interested about this stuff. Like, the whole I think it is a skew due to like the whole feminist movement and stuff and coming into the West, which is not necessarily a negative thing, but like over time things can get negative if unchecked. Like with lots of things, like, you know, if you get too patriarchal.
Well, you think about like that whole movement towards like the anti-woman movement. You've seen that TV show, The Adolescent?
No.
So there's this new TV show out on Netflix that's basically called Adolescent, and it's about this boy. He's about 13 years old, and he kills this girl about the same age, because he liked her.
Yeah.
And she turned him down.
Yeah.
And so there's this whole movement surrounding like boys being like thinking that you have to prey on women, like women are prey.
Yeah.
And you have to wait for them to be sad so you can ask them out, because they will lower their standards for you.
Oh, that's like game.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
It's very like
women, like, that sounds like a toxic version of like
it's very
dating.
Yeah, it's a very like toxic sort of like. I feel like it's been around for a long time though.
Oh, it's a tactic, 100%. It's been out
Yeah.
for a while. Like I remember when I was a kid, like watching videos, I'm like, what the fuck? Like some of the shit people would use, like basically like treat them mean to keep them keen, sort of shit.
Yeah, and I think that comes up in like the gay culture as well, but it's just less prevalent because we're not taught from a young age that that's what we should do.
Yeah. I don't know. So what's it called?
Adolescent.
Adolescent. I have to watch it. And what was the movement?
It's like this. They said it in the TV show, but I can't really particularly remember what it's specific. But it's like boys and men that like are against women, and they think it's all the women's fault for like they don't have a girlfriend and they're not dating and stuff like that, and so they don't speak to women and they don't talk to them.
Oh, so incels.
There's like incels. But there's also like a. Have you ever seen those I think there's ABC TV, and it's like you shouldn't ask that.
No.
Okay, so there's this whole TV show around like it's like this whole TV show based around the point that you shouldn't ask that to like certain groups of people. So like LGBTQ people, like people that are Muslim, like people that are disabled, people that are blind. Like and so it's all these people that come on and they ask questions to these people that are of this race or colour or sexual identity. And they'll ask questions that you shouldn't ask. Yeah. And you wouldn't ask a person if you just came across them in the street. But then they get answers. So it's like this, and it's the same with this, sort of these people that don't, like these boys that don't speak to women. Yeah. And they ask all these questions and stuff. It's really interesting. Yeah. I would highly recommend it.
That'd be good. Yeah. Oh, I might check it out. Be interesting to check it out.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I tried to get Nav into it, but he's not too keen on the documentaries.
Yeah, it's fair.
No, which documentary?
You watch them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a big issue currently with the relationships we have, and it's a very complex combination of things of our biology mixed with the modern times.
I agree.
Our biology's been like this for millions of years, but the technology hasn't, and we haven't adapted to it, so we're very confused. Because like the one thing you see is that like let's say young women, they can get into like short-term relationships with heaps of blokes because it's quite easy for a girl, simply because the needs of like the requirements for a bloke to go to you is being attractive, for one, and being young most of the time, and so like you'll have like thousands of suitors who'll come to you, whereas the criteria for men is quite rigorous.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so that's why it's quite easy for women to get into these short-term relationships, even if they're not good quality men, and they can be tricked and bamboozled with like all that game shit.
Yeah.
So that's why you find a lot of people saying, "Where all the good men gone?" It's because you don't have your dad to tell you what's a good man. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I get that.
That's where I'm coming from. That's where I'm going with that.
That went like that all connected really well actually. Yeah. Yeah.
It's because that's the reason why it's so important to have good positive male role models, because they also used to guide their daughters to know who was a good person to marry. Yeah. Because girls don't know what men think, and boys know what men think like.
Yeah, well, I grew up with like a really like strong, positive like male role model. Yeah. And like I had my brother as well, so so I had my dad and my brother, and like I had quite a few. Yeah. And like I think that's something that comes across really well in like my manners and the way I treat people.
Yeah.
Like I think that like, if I hadn't have been, like if I hadn't had my dad in my life, I would have turned out like a real shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little turd. Because like your dad's meant to show you how to live in the world.
Well, yeah, he did. Like
Yeah.
if I'd done something wrong, he'd be like, mate, not on.
Yeah.
And like he'd be like, you don't swear at your mother, like you don't do
Yeah.
this, you don't do that. And I'd be like, and like, he's like my dad, so I'd be like, alright.
Yeah.
Whereas my mum would tell me to do shit all the time, and I'd be like, eh.
Yeah. It's a bit different.
Yeah, because I think like mums are always nagging, and then like your dad's
Yeah.
always like your dad will tell you one thing, and like he'll tell you once, and then you're just supposed to.
Yeah.
That'd be it.
Both roles are meant to be selfless,
Mm.
but they both serve different purposes.
Yeah.
Like, you got the feminine, which is like that caring, nurturing nature.
Mm.
Then you've got the one which is the protection and the stability,
Yeah.
which is your dad.
Which is exactly like how I grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, that's all. Oh, man, I love that shit. It's just interesting. Because like it kind of like, cause like I'm living it, like we're all living it now.
Yeah,
like,
we are.
in our young ages, trying to like navigate the entire world, trying to get into relationships and trying to find stability, but it's so hard because there's so many distractions and we don't have.
There are so many distractions.
So many distractions.
But I don't know, like I think the way that like I think something that popped up for me like in my young like being like younger was like it's not about finding the one, it's not about finding that one person that's right for you. It's about finding someone whose goals align with yours and then just sticking with them.
Yeah.
It's not about like it's not about love, it's not about passion. It's about finding someone.
Practicality.
It's about finding someone that works.
Yeah.
And just doing it.
Yeah.
And just sticking it out.
Yeah.
And like I think that's something that's really stood with me. Because like I just like I dated lots of women before I found my partner.
Yeah.
And like none of them like fit. And it was just like when I met my partner, I was like, okay, like you fit.
Yeah.
Let's just do it. And like we've had our troubles and stuff, but it's like
All relationships have trouble.
yeah, and I think you're supposed to have troubles with your relationship. But like we have the same goals.
Yeah.
Like we want the same things out of life. Like
Yeah.
so I think that like just sticking it out and like putting in the effort that way.
It'll end up in positive. Even if you don't, like, for example, you might stay together for 25 years and then all of a sudden just...
Yeah.
And that's fine.
That's fine, yeah.
But, like, that's communication over time.
Yeah, and I think that's super important.
Yeah. Which we suck at. Fucking everyone sucks at communicating.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking love it. Yeah. No, yeah.
But what about you? You've got anyone in the cards?
Fuck no. Like, the issue with, like, dating apps, like, this is what happens. I'll get matches. I'll message them. How I no answer.
Jesus.
It's like, you've matched with me because of, like, some sort of perceived interest.
Yeah.
And then you don't engage in a conversation.
Oh, Jesus.
So, like, I feel like that's kind of feeding into that sort of human nature, which is that validation, which is like, oh, match dopamine, feeling good. Like,
But they don't need any further from that. They've got the match. They don't need anything
yeah, because
else.
if I look at the opposing person's phone, which is a woman, she'll probably have like 1,000 men going, oh, "You're so beautiful. Oh my God, I would take it." You know, giving like.
Well, I do. I definitely do see your point on that. Like, if I ever go on, like, I'm quite like a masculine figure, and like,
But if you went there as a heterosexual, you would get a shit ton of matches still as well.
Yeah, the thing is like, if I go on like as straight, I will have like I could probably like within the next 15 to 20 minutes, if I got onto a dating app, downloaded it, put my profile up, put a couple pretty pictures of me on there.
Yeah.
And then started swiping. I reckon in the next half an hour I could have a man in my house.
100%. You could.
And it's wild.
And it's kind of creeps me out.
It is.
And
It's
it's
so
kind
weird.
of like it's like, where's your standards?
Yeah.
It's like,
It's like
where the fuck are your standards? Like, that's the bloke. Like,
Yeah.
and also because there's two parties involved, but like, fuck me dead.
it's wild.
Like the modern world has gotten rid of standards, and you're just seeing like this absolutely disgusting part of nature.
Well, I think I have pretty strict standards in my like dating.
Yeah.
And I think that like and I would never go like I would never go around them.
Yeah.
Like now that I'm older, I'll be like, no, they don't.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah. But I think that men have standards. Like
Some men do. Some men don't. And when men haven't had sex in a long time, they'll lower themselves low just to get it out of the system. They'll go to the ground.
Oh Jesus.
There's some some men will do some disgusting things just to get their rocks off.
I like how both of you are nodding there.
Yeah.
100%. That's just what blokes are like. Like I'm not, because like I'm like I got a conscience.
Yeah.
Feel like I'm just using this person. Like,
Yeah.
because I can't do that. Because I'd be like, I'm just using this person as an object and I don't want to do
But can't you make that like abundantly clear? Like you can't be like, hey.
I can, but I would feel like shit still.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
still like you're conscious. You're making it clear, but it's still in your conscious that you're doing something that your conscious says.
So I'd
is
rather
wrong.
not do that.
It's almost like a switch.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah. Because like there's that innate nature in there was like, yeah, that'd be great. But then it's like, oh no, I don't want to do that to you because you're still a person.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's like, I'm just using you and I don't want to use you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not right. We shouldn't be treating ourselves as objects. That's just the way I am.
Yeah. Which, like, I think that's so admirable.
Yeah.
But then it's like, I don't know, like, the way that I think of, like, men is that, like, they just already do that.
They do. Like, like, that's just, that's just me, but, like, a lot of blokes won't, they'll just use and they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's just other blokes.
But I think, like, that's definitely coming from someone who doesn't currently date men, and it's like...
Yeah, blokes will just do that. They'll be like, oh, you're hot, you got that angle perfect, alright, you know, and I won't talk to you ever again. You've just been used, and you've probably ruined your reputation, and...
But I see this, I'd see that sort of stuff a lot from, like, our friends.
Yeah.
And, like, the people that we know at work and stuff like that. And, like, you can see, like, the way that they talk about some of the people they've hooked up with or, like, being with. It's like, you get that. And you're like, I don't know how to help you because I don't, like, I'm not that person. Like, I already have a relationship. I don't know what you have to deal with. And I also don't date that gender. Like,
what do you mean? You mean as in like the going through people thing?
Yeah, like, I don't get it because when I've never done that.
Yeah.
Like, and I've never, like, been that person. And I don't date men. Like, I've dated men very irregularly.
Yeah.
And when I did date men, I was almost like the man in the situation where I would just be like, you, and then I'd be like, sweet, done.
Yeah.
So it was like...
I think it's because of low standards in conflating sex with actually developing relationships. I think that's the conflation.
Yeah, so like, you can get what you need without having a relationship.
The commitment. Yeah. It's like, oh look, you're giving me everything I want anyway, so like, and I don't have to commit to you, so... Yeah. You know, there's no risk of pregnancy because of contraception.
Yeah, okay. I can see where this is going, yep.
Yeah, so loops all back again.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. It fucking sucks.
It sucks.
It's such a hard deal. It's such a hard deal. Because you're like, I would love to have a relationship, but you probably haven't got the skills and you've got too many distractions on your board, and unless you're willing to get rid of those distractions, unless you're willing to work on yourself, which the likelihood of that is not high, because it's fucking hard and uncomfortable. So, what do you do?
Yeah. You stay single.
You stay single and you stay sexless, which is disgusting because sex is amazing.
It is pretty good.
Yeah, it's just...
I can see it all.
It's weird and complicated.
I can see that you've got this lovely board here.
Yeah, so...
Are these the goals?
These are the goals of the year, yeah. We've got CrossFit, running, jiu-jitsu, high rise, guitar singing, horse riding, animal handling, Darwin, the house.
So when is Darwin?
July. Yeah, so that should be a good trip.
Do you sing?
Huh?
Do you sing?
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to.
Nobody
when you said July Darwin, is it like this July? Have you already got? Are you like you were talking about agency?
Nah, the holiday. So I'm going to suss out Darwin for potentially agency as well.
Okay.
That's why I'm going there.
Yeah.
Go see friends and I can suss it out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, because I don't know. One of the agency nurses told me that it like takes a few, at least a month or more to get everything organized, and then they like start recommending you shit.
It'd be like a year when I figure that all out. Yeah. Yes, that's how I usually organise my goals. I like to visualise them and chuck them on there. And so you'd start a plan, so you don't just have it sitting in your head. You actually fucking do it.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea.
Yeah. If you look on the other side, I've got like how I'm going to achieve like my guitar goals and stuff on the other side.
Oh, awesome! Like a bit of like a
monthly plan.
Yeah.
It's like I'm going to do like this scale this month, these chords, this song. Like that's how and then then I review, and on the end of the month, and I redo it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's quite good.
Yeah, 100%.
I like
If you don't plan, you plan to fail.
Mm.
Anyway, sorry to go on that tangent with the whole relationship dynamic thing, but
No, it's fine.
it'd be very unique in a homosexual one.
Yeah,
It's quite different.
It's quite interesting being, you get like a lot, it's very different.
Yeah.
And like I think that like you don't have all these cultural like expectations.
Yeah.
Like you don't have all the pressure from society to do all these things because you're just like, I'm gay, and they're like, oh, I don't know how that goes.
Yeah.
Because they know how their relationship goes if they're straight, and they know that there's rules to it, but in a gay relationship,
it's different.
It's completely different because there's no rules for it.
And you become 50-50. Because like, there's not necessarily an expectation of kids.
Yeah.
Which is totally different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's not an expectation of marriage because marriage has only been legal for like the last 5-10 years.
Yeah. So what should we summarise so we can make that a bit more linear? Because that whole conversation was like tangents.
I think what we talked about mainly was like the complexity of relationship and how hard it is for men to date.
Yeah, and it's difficult for women too. Like you can see that because I feel like a lot of young women are misguided on what a good man is or what a good partner is. Because like they'll just go to what they think is like, well, you know, to the eyeball, to like a lot of young women being muscular, fit, athletic, and being a cunt. That's the man you want. But turns out when you only care about yourself, you don't actually have a stable relationship.
Yeah.
You have to care about somebody else. You have to be a bit selfless to make things work.
So is that our summary?
Yeah, that's my summary. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Shit's fucked.
Shit's fucked.
No, it's just difficult, just complicated. And I'll send you all that shit when I remember it.
Yeah, I'll definitely appreciate it. I really want to listen to that one you were talking about before about the like having a father figure and
yeah, I'll find something for you.
Technology and
all that. There's some good podcasts about it.
That would be good.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about? Because we've been here for an hour.
Have we?
Yeah.
We've done well.
Yeah, time went by fast.
That time went fast.
It does. Once you get like, well, it happens to every podcast. Like you start warming up, getting to know them, then you find a niche. With general, like that one was, I don't know. Felt like
relationship.
Relationships was the niche today. Sorry to bring that on you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty good.
Oh yeah.
I think it's been good.
What's been one of your major new thoughts?
That sort of having that sort of like thought about how not having a parental figure and like a masculine figure like reduces sort of women's ability to make good decisions regarding their relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you don't know what a man thinks like, you're not going to know what a good man is. Yeah.
I think that's super interesting.
Yeah.
But that doesn't have too much of an effect on me.
No, it doesn't. But I think it's
super interesting. I really like the idea of being able to bring that into what I do as a job as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like people forget to think on both sides.
Yeah.
They always do.
I always try and think on both sides. I think.
You do very well.
I think because I fit into both categories well.
Yeah.
Like I get along with the boys and I get along with the girls, so it doesn't really matter where I am.
Yeah.
In society, I can usually get along with people.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I think that people are on one side or the other. It's very much like you have to stick to the rules of that.
Yeah.
Assigned position.
100%. Anything you want to add, Navdeep?
No, I just like the whole dating in the Western culture.
How's your dating going?
Dating.
No, you finish that.
So it's like because like when I got here, like it was different, like the dating culture, and when I lived in the village, it was like the dating style, like the culture there is like really shy kind of culture.
Yeah.
It's like less spoken about, and it's like you actually dating someone, you like try not to tell your parents until like, and that is if you want to tell your parents, is until like you're too sure that it's going somewhere, and then. Yeah, and then moving to a Western society, it's like completely different. It was like, and when I got here, I experienced that. But like listening to you talk about it, it's like, yeah, that's all what I've been experiencing. Yeah. But I never talked about this thing with anyone. But listening to you, I'm like, yeah, it's like a completely different
dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no cultural imposition or anything like that, if that's the right word.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much for coming on. This is episode 30-something of the Thoughtology podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We'll come bring on again.
How are you?
Well, another subject.
I'd be keen to explore something else.
Yeah,
We definitely tried to get into existentialism there.
Yeah, we could. But I think we need to do some reading. Come on,
I think I need to do some reading a little bit more.
do some refreshing. Maybe.
Yeah. I haven't been onto the absurdism in quite a few years.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. It's interesting stuff. I feel like they all have logical issues, but they're all good. They all have good points. They like bring good perspectives onto the way you want to look at the world. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that disproving of God absurdism joke?
No.
So you ask a Christian, you say, "How is God all powerful and almighty? He can do anything." And they say yes. So you say, "Can he make a immovable object and an unstoppable force?" So you have the unstoppable force go into the immovable object.
Yeah.
And if the immovable object or the unstoppable force break, then he can't do anything.
Yeah.
But if they do work, then and he can't move them or stop it, then he's not all powerful and almighty.
Yeah.
It's very much like that. It was an old joke that a friend told me quite a few years ago.
Well, yeah. That's taking like literal statements from the Bible too.
Yeah, to be very like
literal.
Be very literal and be very. And I at the time I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But now that I'm older, I just look at it. I'm like, that's so stupid.
Yeah, it is a bit stupid. Makes sense when you take it literal. Yeah, I think a lot of people try to take it literally, but I think a lot of the perceptions that are written are from a time of like thousands of years ago.
Completely different.
Yeah, all powerful and all knowing would have been, I don't know, knowing that the sun, so that we revolve around the sun.
The sky was blue.
The sky was blue. Yeah. Anyway, we'll end it there. Thank you so much, guys. And I'll get to editing that eventually.